And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Loots, and I'm back with another edition of the Squad Tips series. Sorry I didn't drop a lot of videos today. It is Mother's Day. I had stuff to do. So, before we get started, parameters. Right off the bat, if you haven't watched any of my subscriber tip series before, I try to make sensible choices. I do get a lot of information on the teams that I do choose, but I try to make sensible pickups that make the team better. Now, obviously, I could be like, oh, grab dark matter, blah, 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 and dark matter your entire team out. That's not really what I'm trying to do here. I have your MT amount. I'm still trying to improve your team while saving a vast majority of the MT. So, first off, shout out to my man, Pitt Hooper. By the way, you can always submit your teams via Twitter or under the community post if you are subscribed. So, Pitt Hooper squad. He's running Ron Harper, RJ Barrett, Bobby Jones, badged out, Rudy, Dirk, Kirk Heinrich, Trevor Ariza, OG, Poku, and Jaren Jackson. So you're on current gen, 320k MT. Best releases with RJ by a mile. I do remember that because you were big on Terry Dissinger. Also, you're good with Bobby Jones, Dirk, and Rudy. Dirk's release is good, and if you can green with it consistently, like, it's an excellent release. He does just miss whites. That's my only issue with him. Other than that, he's fire. I still use him. Looking to upgrade both point guards and eventually a backup 4. You run through RJ, 5 out and 3 hunt with him. Showtime dunks. Frank Vogel is your coach. Okay, so you're eventually trying to upgrade the backup 4. I think you're fine to keep Poku. Depends which one of these two you really like more than the other. Like, Poku's 7 feet tall, so he has that. But he's also kind of gangly. He doesn't really rebound too well. And I don't know. I have issues with him occasionally. But as far as trying to upgrade on the point guard position, right off the bat, I mean, I don't know how you feel about Justice Winslow. But Justice Winslow is relatively cheap. You can pick him up for almost nothing. And you can run him over Kirk Heinrich. Though I don't think he's a crazy upgrade. He is still like a small upgrade that doesn't kill your MT if you still wanted to keep it budget. If you wanted to spend a bit more MT, I recommend going either Lonzo Ball or Penny Hardaway. One of those two guys, just a bigger point guard that you can still 3-hunt with and attack the rim with both of them. Like, both these guys can 3-hunt and both of them can attack the rim. So they're very multi-dimensional point guards. I'm a big fan of both of these guys, realistically. Now, as far as the backup 4 option, there's really not that many small forwards out there. So I would probably keep Ron Harper just because he plays excellent defense. So let's just say you keep Ron Harper. That way you can run him off the bench. You have like a lockdown defensive unit down there. And let's just say you go with a little bit more defense and you want Lonzo Ball starting. That instantly makes your team a little bit better. Like I said, you could go with Penny Hardaway. As far as the backup 4, right now I think Poku's just fine. Him and OG are fine. Like, there's really no reason to really move on from them. You have RJ Barrett, who's one of the only guys that I would go for. If you really wanted to upgrade the bench 4, Isaac is a beast. Like, Jonathan Isaac is so good. He's like 50 or 60k, so he might be a little too expensive for a backup 4, which I totally understand. One person that, if you're going to grind for anybody, is Bailey Howell. Like, Bailey Howell is a beast. He's very hard to get a hold of, but he would play excellently. And if you didn't want to go for him, trying to grind for like a Larry Cannon would be another option. Like, Larry Cannon is actually really good, surprisingly, and especially for like a free card. That way you don't have to spend a bunch of MT and you can keep your MT for a card that you really want. But I think that's kind of one of those things you can just do over the course of a couple weeks. It's not something you have to do right now. I would say just upgrading the point guard for someone like Penny, Lonzo, or even going for like a Chris Webber if you really wanted to. I think Penny and Lonzo bring you a lot of what Chris Webber's going to bring you, just a lot more as well. They bring you majority. The only thing Chris Webber really brings you is height and like physical build, which, you know, he does have that over Lonzo and Penny Hardaway, but I think Lonzo and Penny Hardaway really are that good. Now, that being said, Lonzo, he's been fluctuating over and under 100k, so it's really tough to say exactly where he's at. If you wanted to go with somebody who's a little bit more cost efficient, then I would go with Penny. Penny still isn't going to be as good defensively, but he does bring you a little bit more length as well. And if you're a primary ball handler as RJ Barrett already, then he's not a terrible player to have over there. Now, that being said, I haven't given you too many things to really consider, and that's just because the point guard market, as far as like what we have available, is just not good enough to spend enough or like a bunch of MT right now. Like, if you want to pick up like a stopgap guy like Penny, who I think will have a lot of longevity you can use for a while, that's a solid option. Same with like Lonzo Ball, but I don't really think there's any other point guards that are worth going and splurging that MT on at this point. Like, Luka is still good, but they definitely nerfed him, and I think those are the only two that I would spend on. And then you got Ron Harper, who's excellent already. So shout out to you, Pitt, man. I hope that helps you out at all. Like I said, there's not many changes you can make for your team because your team's just overall incredibly good. If you're wet with Dirk, I would still start him over Jaren Jackson, but kind of a personal preference. All right, next we got my man Small. What do we got here? Don Old. I'm still mad. I know he's outdated now, but I'm like still upset I didn't get him. Kyle Korver. Okay. Tony Kukoc. This team is already way too white for my liking. Danny, oh my god. Yo, what are you sending me right now? Dirk? Okay. Come on. You gotta be trolling me, right? Like, oh, you're definitely trolling me. Caruso. Oh my god, what is this? Is that Jerry Sloan? Come on, man. Come on. Alright, Bobby Jones. Jesus Christ. Who else do you have? Rudy LaRusso and Bill Walton. Alright, you have to be... Come on, dude. You're trolling me right now. Like, there's no possible way this is your real team. There's no way. Alright. God, okay. This is... Oh, man. Alright, right off the bat, you need to get rid of Bill Walton. You need to get rid of Bill Walton, dude. Like, Bill Walton needs to go, first and foremost. Like, before anybody else has to go, it is definitely Bill Walton. Like, Bill Walton needs to be the first person that's gone. Other than that, yeah, there's a lot to do this team. But Bill Walton needs to go, first and foremost. Like, it's just no question about it. Who can you replace him with that's relatively well priced? I didn't even read, like... You're okay, here we go. I like to attack the rim with this squad. All right. With a strong layup. Oh, this is a troll, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Focus on fundamentals and chest passes. Your coach is Phil Jackson, of course it is. All right. Okay. You have a million MT. You got plenty of options. It seems like you want to make this fundamental white guy team, and I just like Bill Walton needs to go. He needs to be the one to go first. Wait, do you have any? No. Kukoc is technically a European. You have Europeans in here. Dirk's a European. Go get Jokic. I'm guessing. Go get Jokic. Like, you can get him for like nothing. Go pick him up. Yeah, him or Puka. Go get Poku. Get rid of Rudy LaRusso. Go get Poku. There. And obviously, like, if you really are keeping this, like, you want terrible white guys on your team, go get Bailey Howell. Definitely go get Bailey Howell, actually. But Bailey Howell is really good. Yeah, that's what I got for you. I think those are the options that you have in front of you. Yeah. I mean, if you really want to upgrade point guard, no, never mind. I was going to suggest Louis Dampier, but go grind for Jerry Lucas. Jerry Lucas makes a lot of sense for your team, too. If you want stale white guys, I got you. Like, Jerry Lucas is about the stalest white guy that's ever existed. Him and Bailey Howell, they either look like they'd be really good friends or extremely bitter enemies. I'm not entirely sure. Man, 2K really made all these, like, stale, terrible white guys super good in this game. Huh. Danny Ferry, Don Ole, who I'm pretty sure has never even sniffed the bottom of a ring, like, but throws down massive dunks in this game. Alright, well, let me know if that helps at all. It's sad that, like, I look at this team and I'm like, okay, this team should, in theory, get escorted off of the court every single time you play and just get beasted on. But it's actually a good team because 2K just loves to pump up mediocre white guys. It's like their favorite thing ever. Alright, on to the next one. What up, Fiji God? Alright, so you got Justice Winslow. Shout out to you, Smalls, dude. That was funny. You made my day. I appreciate it. That was a fun time. Isaac Okoro. Okay, so you got a budget squad. All right, I like where this is going. KPJ. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. My nemesis, Kevin Porter Jr. is in the mix. Great. Jeff Green, who is badged up. Okay. Badged up Jeff Green is a beast. Matt Bonner. Oh, Smalls, go get Matt Bonner for the squad, dude. Bill Walton? No. Ditch Bill Walton. Go get Matt Bonner. He's a ginger. He's not only like a stale white guy, he's a stale ginger white guy. I swear to God, if one of you guys comes through and is like, you're anti-white guy. Yeah, I am. Tyrese Halliburton, Norman Powell. Okay, so you got a really excellent budget squad right here. Precious Achua, and Mo Bamba. Okay. Alright, you got a kind of an interesting squad here. I don't know. You got 40k, you're running Mike Malone, you model your playstyle after Ty Debo. Do you? You green with Kirk, Tyrese, and the GOAT, Matt Bonner the most. Oh, you spelled out Boner. Okay. Okay. You need a small forward and a power forward. This is my alt account. Please help. All right, I feel you. All right. Right off the bat, I would say, I mean, yeah, grind for the reward players, obviously, but this is your alt account, so you're probably not that far in any of the grinds, so you're probably, realistically, getting Jerry Lucas is probably not ideal. You have 40k. So right off the bat, I would say with 40k, you can go get this guy for under, like legitimately under 10k. I would say take 10k, or about 15 roughly, and go grab Robert Covington, because Robert Covington is legitimately like 6k, and he's an absolute monster. Go grab him, ditch Bamba for, ironically enough, Bamba, like, because Mo Bamba is actually really good. Like, Diamond Mo Bamba is very good. If you need someone with a little bit more ball handling, I would grab Eddie Curry, because Eddie Curry is super cheap as well, and Eddie Curry is a monster, and right there, that kind of improves your team significantly right off the bat. One thing I would do that I think would actually make your team a lot better, it depends how good you are with Justice Winslow and how much you like him. I believe you said that you green really hard with Halliburton, right? Yeah, Tyrese. Okay, one thing I would do right here is this. I think this would make a lot of improvements to your team. Move up Tyrese to the starting lineup. Move Norman Powell over to the shooting guard, and then run Justice Winslow at small forward. That presents you with another ball handler on the bench, because the one issue you're having on the bench, I can tell right off the bat, is distinct lack of ball handlers. So moving Justice Winslow down there with Captain Kirk gives you 2 primary ball handlers, and then Eddie Curry and Norman Powell can also handle the ball. Like, Eddie Curry, I think, is actually a better ball handler than Norman Powell. And then also bringing up Tyrese to the starting lineup, like, you have great defense in Okoro, Robert Covington, and Jeff Green. And then you're moving Halliburton up there to give you more offense, like, because Jeff Green, Robert Covington, they're both mainly catch and shoot defensive guys. Whereas Okoro, I mean, obviously Jeff Green and Rocco can attack the rim too, but they're not primary ball handlers, is my point. Okoro can handle the rock. Matt Bonner actually can handle the ball. Believe it or not, he's actually a beast. This would overall balance your team out a little bit, and I don't think you necessarily need to spend a bunch of empty. Personally, like, I really don't think you need to. If you're not happy with Norman Powell, like, Lou Dort, surprisingly, is incredibly good. He's a little bit small and requires some shooting badges, but no joke, he's kind of a beast. He's a little small and stocky and stuff. I think he's only 6'3", but he has like a 6'8" wingspan and a very wide player build, so he gets in the way of people. I would say go get Poku, but I really don't think Poku's worth the price. It depends what he's going for. Like, if Poku is under 15k, he would be an excellent choice as well. But I think Rocco is much better for his monetary value, because legitimately you could pick him up for like 6k, because he doesn't have the meme attached to him that Bukovic has. So I think that actually shores up your team quite a bit. And then I'd just wait for the next content drop. Obviously, you know, if you could get Moncrief from the Ascension, that would be awesome. If you can get Larry Kanan or Bailey Howell, obviously those guys would help, so you're going to want to go after them ASAP. But I think the rest of the guys, like, just wait for new content drops and you got a good squad right here. I mean, in theory, you could go after like an RJ Barrett. You can get him for relatively cheap, I think around 30K, but you only have 40K, and it's not really worth spending that much on RJ. He's great, but he's not really worth it at this point. Plus, this keeps your teams overall kind of low. That's another thing that Robert Covington will help with a lot. If you go into Unlimited with this squad right here, like this 5-man, this will probably only clock you in at an 84. At the highest, 85. I'd have to actually check. So I think that's going to be more helpful. Just because I think Roko's like 89, 99. So he helps your overall just a little bit more. I think this will do a lot for your team. If you don't really like Robert Covington, you could always move off and get Pukavechki. I'm not saying that right. I forgot. Somebody came in the comments and educated me how to say it, and I unfortunately forgot to read that before starting this video like I wanted to, so shout out to you for doing that. I appreciate it. But yeah, get Poku if you don't like Robert Covington. Other than that, this is what I would do to your team. I think it'll help. Let me know. Obviously go for the reward guys, but that's not much of a tip. Everyone's going for those guys, but you know, if you can get them, they'll definitely help your team out a lot. Also, like, don't be scared to level up that Derrick Rose. Like, that Derrick Rose, when you get him evo'd, he's a beast, man. He has, like, an absurd amount of Hoff badges, too, so just saying. All right, this person's name is just Hi. Well, hi to you. Juan Carlos Navarro. Okay. J.R. Smith. Right? Is that... Yeah, I believe it's Dark Matter, JR. Okay. Yeah, you have Kukoc. It has to be. Kukoc. Kukoc is good. I don't think I'm not as high on Kukoc as a lot of people are, but I do think he's good. Bol. All right, shout out to Bol. And Robinson. Okay. So you have a pretty stellar squad. Off the budget squad into the God squads. My boy Frank. You know, last season, I still didn't get in the glitch market, by the way. Just so frustrating, man. Trevor Ariza. I do like this Trevor Ariza card. Like, he's so good. Harrison Barnes. Really? Harrison Barnes, huh? Huh. I wonder how good he is. I haven't tried him. He's like the one attainable card for me that I haven't tried. As far as, like, you know, Bailey Howell and stuff like that. Like, I've tried to go after those guys, but, you know, it's algorithm-based, so it's tough. I haven't got a hold of him. I played around with Larry Canaan a little bit. I did get Moncrief, which he's pretty good defensively. But anyways, that's besides the point. You have 100K to spend. You like to run and kick out for open threes. And in my heart, use... Okay, Frank Vogel is your coach. Juan Carlos Navarro, Frank, and Tony Kukoc. Oh, Juan Carlos Navarro and Frank you green the most with. Kukoc you actually green the least with. Okay. Willing to change anyone in the squad except for Harrison Barnes. Dude, so much respect for that statement right there. Like, the fact that you're rolling that hard with Harrison Barnes, I appreciate you. Okay, so you have 100K to spend. You got a relatively good team right here. You green the most with Frank, so I wouldn't get rid of Frank right now. I mean, realistically, the point guard options that you have available to you, like, probably aren't that good. Unless you want to spend majority of your 100K on a point guard. But if these two guys you green the most with, then there's no real point to get rid of them. Like, Juan Carlos is going to cost you games because of how bad his defense is. But, I mean, if you're greening that much with him, then there's really no point to get rid of him. You got a great shooting guard in J.R. Smith. Your backcourt's a little bit small, but, I mean, your front court is so massive and so athletic that I don't really think it's that big of an issue. Overall, the team's great. Like, I don't think there's really anything that you can do that's really going to upgrade your squad, like, to a crazy degree. If you want to give him a shot, like, Jonathan Isaac is a monster. If you're not really feeling Kukoc and you want to move on from, like, let's say Wes Unseld for whatever reason, like, Isaac's a beast. Running him, David Robinson, and Bol is going to make it so people are not going to score on your front court very often. Like, they're too athletic, too big, and they can all move incredibly well. And then you can move Tony Kukoc to the bench power forward instead of Wes Unseld if you don't want to use him anymore or anything like that. Other than that, there's not a whole lot to do to this team. The only guys I would really change out are Juan Carlos Navarro and Frank. But if those are the guys you green with the most, then there's absolutely no reason to do that at this point. Especially because Frank was a free card. You can't even sell, so there's really no point to get rid of him. And Juan Carlos is not only cheap, there's not really anyone outside of Dwayne Wade that shoots the same as him, so there's not even really that great replacement for you. I would check out Jonathan Isaac, see how you feel about him. If you wanted to make a 2-guard switch, you could do that, but Ariza's fine, J.R. Smith's fine, but I mean, if you really weren't feeling Ariza, go check out R.J. Barrett, not Rick Barry. Go check out R.J. Barrett. He's really good, especially if you like Terry Dissinger. He's got that Rudy Gay base that's incredibly good, and it feels really nice coming off of him. But other than that, your team's straight. Nobody from this last couple sets really makes a huge difference for your team, so I would hold tight. You can go rent one of these guys, R.J. Barrett, Jonathan Isaac. Try them out, see how you feel. Maybe even Poku or Rocco, but I don't really think they make a huge addition to your team either, especially with Harrison Barnes being there, and that's someone you really like. And Kukoc is still better than those guys anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Even if you green the least with him, he's still altogether like a better card, you know? But Jonathan Isaac is a better card than Tony Kukoc. And to a certain extent, RJ Barrett is as well. So yeah, maybe I would go look at that. Jonathan Isaac would be the upgrade that I would make. Maybe throw Kukoc on the bench if you can. That's all I would do. Other than that, your team's really solid. So shout out to you. I don't know your real name, but hi. For submitting your team. I wish I had more to tell you, but your team's really solid right now. And if you green with those guys, there's really no point to getting rid of them. That's just my thought on it. All right, final squad. We got somebody whose name is Ty Debo's grandson. I mean, dude's like 20 years old, so I don't know how early he was getting busy out here, but I find it unlucky that you are, in fact, his grandson. RJ Barrett. Let's see. You got a good squad. I like RJ Barrett. Yeah, you really are. Yeah, you got Robert Covington. You're really following in the family footsteps there. Danny Ferry. You know, Danny Ferry's a beast. Eddie Curry. The real Curry, Eddie. What's the bench looking like here? Justice Winslow. I do like Justice Winslow. Trevor Ariza. Put Zaziza. Trevor Ariza. What do we got? Paul Millsap. Oh, you were playing last season. I see. John Collins. Honestly, I haven't had anybody say they were using him just because he's really hard to get a hold of. He was available for like 4 days in the glitch market. You got super lucky on that one. And Jaren Jackson Jr. You got 50k MT. Best releases are RJ, Covington, Ferry. The worst is Winslow, so you're looking to upgrade backup point guard. 5-out-3 hunt with Ferry and Showtime slams with everyone. Coach is Frank Vogel, and you're on current gen. Justice Winslow would be your only issue. And Justice Winslow is a beast, but if you're not greening with him, I totally understand. No card is universal for everyone. Like that's something I've always tried to like put out there, and it's a problem from content creators too. Is generally we hype up a card so much that everyone seems to think it's like universally goated, but there are going to be people who pick up a card and just straight up don't like it. Like for instance, Paul George is somebody who is always super hyped to me, and I just never like him. I don't know what it is. I can't green with him. And it doesn't make any sense, because guys like Dumas, and who else has Paul George release? Cam Reddish. I green with those guys, but for whatever reason, like, Paul George, I can't do it. Robert Covington I've always been fine with, but Poku's another one. Like, I hate Poku. I do not like him personally. Like, for me, like, I personally don't like him, but though I do suggest him for people because he is kind of a beast. But yeah, so I mean, if you're not liking Justice Winslow, I mean, you could always go back. I'm sure you've had him at some point, but you could always go back to Halliburton. Halliburton's great. Halliburton's an absolute beast. Like, he still is. I don't think he's, like, nerfed at all. I've had somebody say that they think he was nerfed. I really don't think that's the case. If you don't want to go him, I mean, honestly, Kirk Heinrich is really good, too. Like, Kirk Heinrich is really nice. He's extra solid. He's a little bit too much of a spot-up shooter sometimes. I mean, he plays good defense, and he can attack the rim, but he's not, like, incredibly great at it. But as far as point guards right now, like, we are at kind of a lull in the point guard train. Honestly, don't be afraid to go after this man too. Like, he's really nice as well. Like, Alex Caruso is actually a beast. Like, surprisingly, I know it's like Alex Caruso, you don't really think about it, but I mean, Halliburton, Caruso, Kirk Heinrich. I mean, if you can get Penny Hardaway for cheap enough, I think he'll help your team out. But with 50 KMT, I don't think it's really worth going and divulging on him. But that's kind of my own thought on it. If Justice Winslow was really making you mad, though, and you didn't really want to use him because you're not greening with him, I totally understand. I would go grab one of these 3 guys. Halliburton, Kirk, or Alex Caruso. All of them are under 10K. All of them are extremely useful, and they're good at multiple things, and I don't think they really hurt your team at all to try them out, especially if you're not greening with Justice Winslow as well. I mean, you are going to miss out on some defense from Justice. Like, he is going to be able to hold down those bigger point guards, so that is something you're going to have to kind of live with. Caruso is actually relatively good defensively, though. Surprising. He doesn't seem that good defensively, but he actually is. It's kind of weird. As far as the rest of your team, there's absolutely no additions to be made here. You could, if you really were getting unhappy with Eddie Curry for some reason, throw Jaren Jackson up in the starting lineup. Maybe try out Diamond Bamba. He's pretty okay, but Eddie Curry's a beast, and he brings you so much more ball handling than Bamba would that I don't really think it's necessary. John Collins and Millsap are both fine. If you wanted to get rid of John Collins, like, I don't really think there's anyone that's worth the amount of MT they're going for. Like, there's no cost-efficient options that are better than John Collins, in my opinion. So I would just hold tight until the next content drop and see what budget options we get. I just don't really think it's worth upgrading too much, but if you wanted to upgrade that point guard position, Tyrese, Kirk, or Caruso, those would be the guys that I would generally recommend. I don't think any of the Opal guys are really necessary. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could go Rondo too. Like, Rondo's good, but he's getting a little outdated and he's small too. And it would appear that you like a bigger point guard. Kirk is probably the one I would recommend the least. I think, just reading your playstyle in general, he probably fits the least. Though he's only going for about 2K, so it's like a very inexpensive rental if you wanted to try him out. Maybe you like him. It just kind of depends. Caruso or Halliburton. Caruso probably sounds like the most fitting of your playstyle, but Halliburton's the best shooter. I mean, I like Kirk as a shooter, but like overall, for the majority of the player base, they're going to prefer Halliburton. So I don't know. One of these 3 guys is who I would try out for now. And then just wait for the new free cards, the new content drop. I mean, obviously go for free guys. That would improve your team, which, seeing you have John Collins and Millsap, you're definitely willing to do that. So, and Jaren Jackson. So I don't really think it's going to be an issue for you. But, yeah. I mean, if you can get Kanan or somebody, I think they... Honestly, I don't even think Kanan would really improve your team too much. Like, I can't say for certain he's even really that much better than Robert Covington. I think at the end of the day, he's got cooler hair for sure, but that's about it. So anyways, as always, it has been your boy Cheap Ludes. I hope I helped you guys out this week. You guys are rocking some pretty stacked teams, so it's kind of difficult to help out. Shout out to the budget team that submitted to. I always like when a nice budget team rolls up. That's always fun. I get tired of trying to help out God Squads. There's just not much I can suggest, but I will be back with more content tomorrow. Like I said, today was Mother's Day, so I had stuff to do. We're getting a bunch of new content in MLB, in NBA 2K this week, so I'm excited. Is it like worth it to be excited? Probably not. I'll probably be let down, but it is what it is. I will get to uploading over on the second channel more. I've just been uploading so much content over here that it's been hard for me to find time to upload over there. But I know I'm pandering it all the time, but go subscribe to it. Even if you don't watch the videos, like, just subscribe to the channel and try to get me to 1,000 just to help me out, because there is going to be like a 2-month dead period in 2K later on during the summer where like there's not even really videos I can make for 2K, so I'm going to be uploading a lot of stuff over there on that channel. And I'm not just focusing on the show. Like, I'm going to do some Madden stuff, some other video game stuff. I have a bunch of videos planned. I might even go back and play NBA Live 19 over there for a little bit and review their card game mode against 2K. But I'll probably do it on the other channel. So if you want to see that, definitely go subscribe to Cheaper Ludes. The link is in the description. But I appreciate all you guys for subscribing to my channel. And I will be back tomorrow. So peace.